Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of the Commissioner's Couch podcast. Go ahead, grab a seat, kick up your feet, because we're going to talk about fantasy football. My name is David Cahoon, and that is my friend Ryan Mosser across the screen from me. How you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Doing really good. Excited to talk some fantasy football this week.
Yeah, me too. So we're over a quarter of the way through. We went last week, talked through our quarterly review, if you want to call it that. Talk through some teams that we're really liking. We did some power rankings last week. If you're interested in that episode, it is on our YouTube. So go ahead and give it a listen. But yeah, this week we're going to kind of get back to our regular schedule of activities and talk through all the things that we normally do. So yeah.
Real quick, we are sponsored by at Inside Edge Network. Go check them out. The Inside Edge Network, they're really great. LVP Productions, and then Monster Moments Photography.com. They're a Cleveland-based husband and wife photography team that are really, really good. Monster Moments Photography.com. MOSSOR Momentsphotography.com. All right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
First injuries. Yeah, a lot of devastating injuries this last week, unfortunately. Lamar Jackson's hurt with his hamstring. He is doubtful. There's a list here. I'm just going to go through this list. It's pretty extensive. CeeDee Lamb is out again with his ankle injury. Brock Bowers, knee. Questionable is week to week. He has not practiced all week, so that is one to monitor for sure. Amari Hampton was placed on IR. Chuba Hubbard, calf questionable, labeled day-to-day. Bucky Irving has a foot and shoulder injury. He's questionable day-to-day. He is rumored to miss week 6. Rashad White would be the backup, and then obviously Tucker would be the backup for him. Or I'm sorry, White would be the starter if he's out.
Yep.
Juan Jennings is questionable. Ricky Pearsall, it's questionable not practicing. I'm pretty sure I just saw that he is out, so double check that. But I'm pretty sure Pearsall is out. Brock Purdy, toe questionable. Miles Sanders, knee ankle, questionable. Jalen Warren, knee questionable. Jalen Coker, quad. Seems like he is on the right track to possibly come back soon, so check on him. Cedric Tillman's out on IR with the hamstring. Mike Evans is out with the hamstring. Terry McLaurin is questionable with the quad. Calvin Austin is hurt with shoulder injury. Tyreek Hill, knee on IR out for season.
That was painful.
Yeah. Antonio Gibson this past week also tore his ACL. He's out for the season. Braylon Allen is out with a knee injury. Jackson Dart hurt his hamstring, but he was full practice today, so that's good. Tyron Tracy, shoulder, limited at practice, but it looks like he is back, and he looks like he has no injury status all now as of about an hour ago. Saquon Barkley, knees, limited at practice. Christian Watson hit his knee. 21-day PUP practice window has opened, so look for him to possibly come back within the next 21 days, or they'll have to make a decision on him. Brenton Strange, the Jaguars tight end, he is on IR with the hip injury. George Kittle, a hamstring. He is on IR, but they said that he might come back next week, so that's something to check out. Colson Loveland is questionable with hip injury. Malik Neighbors, knee, IR, and then Jake Ferguson was out this week so far with practice with an undisclosed injury. So all injuries, nothing ever good comes from injuries in fantasy.
No. So. And they're starting to pile up, so that sucks.
Yeah, dude, it sucks. All on my team. My teams are. I'm not having fun right now.
it is the season of injuries for the Monster teams.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump in then to our first segment that we call Hunks and Skunks, and talk through some players that we are really excited about this week, and some players that we think are going to be Skunks. So Hunks and Skunks. I'll let you go first. Who you got?
Okay, yeah, I'll do my first hunk. My first hunk is tight end from the Giants, Theo Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
71% owned in Sleeper right now. Last week had 82% snap count, 6 catches on 7 targets for 33 yards. Not so great, but he did have 2 touchdowns, which was awesome. The last 2 weeks, actually, he had 2 touchdowns 3 touchdowns total the last 2 weeks with the unfortunate injury to Malik Neighbors. And obviously the quarterback change with Jackson Dart there with Russell Wilson being out. Theo Johnson has benefited greatly with that change. Unfortunately, you don't ever want to see injuries, but it looks like maybe Jackson Dart has found his blanket receiver in a way. He's since the injury, 9 catches on 12 targets for 50 yards and 3 touchdowns. Something to note, coming out of Penn State, Theo Johnson was considered a physical freak. His size and speed made him a legitimate weapon in the passing game. And that passing game is in desperate need of a legitimate weapon. Yeah, 1 hour obviously is okay, but Theo Johnson runs a 4.5, 740, 260 pounds, and has an RAS, so the relative athletic score of 10 out of 10, which is the highest out of any tight end in 37 years. The RAS score records height, weight, bench, vertical, broad jump, 40-yard dash, and other physical measurables as well. Anyone who is a part of draft and draft Twitter knows about the RAS score. Go check out @MathBomb on Twitter. Kent is really, really great. And that RAS chart is hand in hand comes with the draft. And he's saying he is the best recorded one physically out of any tight end in 37 years. And I think that, Theo Johnson's a late bloomer, just like these other tight ends that we see in the NFL lately. But I think this guy's he's going to benefit with Jackson Dart for sure. So. That's one.
Yeah,
Hunk.
I agree. I like that Hunk. He's good. He's definitely emerged as a great red zone target for that offense. Yeah, the athleticism that he has there is definitely freakish. He kind of, I feel like, has a similar start to his career, similar to like David Njoku in a sense. Definitely like took a little bit to get used to the NFL.
Njoku took 7 years though, but yeah.
Yes, but Njoku also like joined the league when he was 20. So
true that, yeah. Yeah, and like you said, physical freak as well. Njoku is, so
yeah. So I like that one. All right, my hunk would be none other. I have to get my guy like juiced up when he does well. So that would be Bill Krosky-Merritt. I do. I think that offense needs an explosive running back like Bill, and I'm very excited to see him finally starting to flourish. So last week he had 14 carries for 111 yards, and I think he had a touchdown. I don't remember. I didn't write that one down. But that averaged out to 8 yards a carry. And so if he can do that while accumulating more touches, he's just going to continue to be a beast in the fantasy world. So I'm very excited to see how he continues to progress and continue to get more touches and more share of the offense. I think that he's going to just continue to be somebody that team can rely on and run the ball with. So
he had 2 touchdowns last week, David.
2?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, man. Well, hey, your guy had 2 touchdowns. My guy had 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
So, yeah, Bill Krosky-Merritt, go put him in your starting lineups. He's worth it now. So
there you go. All right, yeah. Go and do your second hunk, and then I'll do mine.
Yeah. So my next one is somebody that I was really like adamantly against going into the season. I thought that he kind of just peaked last year. They acquired another veteran wide receiver into the offense. So I was like very hesitant on, is he still going to be a very target dominant player in that role? And he turned out to, just not listen to what I said. It turned out to be a stud, and that would be Puka Nacua. He is like just absolutely tearing it up this year. One of the most efficient wide receivers in the NFL right now.
Right.
And he has just been the like bread and butter go-to guy for that offense and for Matthew Stafford. I really thought that Devontae Adams was going to, take away some of his target share, and he did not. And so if anything, it looks like they're using Devontae Adams.
And that's crazy. I mean,
Devontae Adams
is looking good too. And I mean, Puka could look even better, which is nuts. But he's the definitely receiver one for a reason. So
yep. And so he's just been on an elite tear. I think he's going to continue with it. So if you got him, keep riding the hot hand.
There you go. All right, my second hunk, Puka Nacua. Hey, why don't you just throw up a softball for him? George Pickens, wide receiver at Cowboys. Last week, 78% snap count, 2 catches for 57 yards, but he did have a touchdown. This week, the Cowboys are playing the Panthers, who are ranked 12th best in passing defense, allowing 311 passing yards per game. And so far, Pickens has 23 catches for almost 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, he's looking really good. Looking really good as the number 1 receiver too. And I don't think he'll take much of a step back when CD does come back. He's currently ranked as the 6th best receiver and sleeper, and I expect him to continue with or without CD Lamb. Like I said, as long as he keeps catching these touchdowns, the sky's the limit for him in fantasy. George Pickens is a hunk this week for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's just get into our skunks real quick.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, number 1, skunk. This guy stinks, and he's part of my team, and it sucks. Okay, his name is Jerry Jeudy, and he's a wide receiver for the Browns, and he stinks, guys.
Pepe Le Pew.
90% snap count, 2 catches for 15 yards last week. I mean, on the year, 50 catches on 35 targets, so 20, not 20. Oh my gosh, he's got 20 balls where he didn't catch, which is more than the catches he has in the season. 197 yards and 0 touchdowns. Also leads the NFL in 2025 in drop passes. Like, I mean, this dude is 1 game away from completely losing it. Like on the sidelines, he's already like, being interviewed saying, "Oh, did you check the tape? Yeah, we all checked the tape, dude. You suck. You can't catch the ball. You can't get open. There's no separation. You're garbage, and it sucks that you're the number 1 receiver on my team." His stats are incredibly subpar 2025, and that's if he catches the ball. I mean, Jerry Jeudy is not even just a guy at this point, as Steve Smith said. He just plain old sucks. He's a skunk.
I agree. He is stinky. He couldn't catch a cold right now. So I hope he gets it together. But
I'd feel bad for the cold.
That's a good one. All right, so my first skunk. I feel like we talked about him before. I don't know when it was, but my first one is Chase Brown. I really feel like there was a lot of hype going into him during the season, and there was a lot of hype when Joe Burrow went down. Like, they'll rely on the running game a lot more. He's going to get more touches and more designs for him, and he's just been absolute hot garbage. It kind of looks like he lost his vision almost in a sense and lost his elusiveness. I don't know what happened to the player that we saw at the end of the year last year, but he's definitely not the same and cannot seem to find any daylight or any open holes and just is going nowhere. And so definitely disappointed in him and his production so far in fantasy. And so he is Mr. Stinky number 2, Mr. Skunk, Chase Brown.
In a rebuttal, I don't think it's Chase Brown's fault at all.
Oh, that offensive line is
bad.
awful.
The offense sucks. On another note, Joe Flacco has already been traded over to the Bengals and has been named the starter. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, has already been named the starter as of today. Now,
wow.
What is one thing Joe Flacco loves to do? He loves to check down that ball to these running backs.
That's
Jalen
true.
Sampson, even Ford, Quinshon Judkins, all these guys have been catching the ball in the backfield. I think Chase Brown has a huge, significant bump in the receiving game with Joe Flacco as the quarterback because Flacco will still be running for his life. So I think that'll be the only hope, and that's the only thing I'm grasping at because all my running backs are hurt, and that's the only guy I can start right now. So, hey, Chase Brown.
please.
Do something for me.
So my other skunk that I have is actually somebody who's coming off of a pretty good week, but I am kind of down on him right now, and that is another running back named Tony Pollard. Okay. He is somebody who I think has been okay so far to start the season. He's not been the most elusive, not been the most dominant when it comes to touchdowns, but he's been just a consistent, steady hand for that Titans offense. And now that they're getting Cam Ward more comfortable in that offense, getting him more comfortable passing and dialing up some more plays for Calvin Ridley, it looks like, I think that his usage is going to drop more. And then I also think Tajay Spears coming back from IR. I don't know if that's this week or next week, but I think he's going to get involved more in the running game, and that's going to eat into the carries that Tony Pollard's going to get. And so I've been starting him for all those first few weeks, and he's been okay, but I think I'm slowly cooling down the hype train around Tony Pollard. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think that he's going to start slowly becoming a person you can't really trust in starting leagues anymore. So.
Yeah, the offense in general is just rough. I mean, you never know who's going to be the guy. And one day it's Ridley, one day it's Amen, or one day it's so you never know. He's pretty skunky, I would say. My second skunk and the final skunk of the segment, wide receiver for the Falcons, Darnell Mooney. This past week, 1 catch for 15 yards. That's it. On the season, 7 catches for 16 yards and 79. 7 catches on 16 targets for 79 yards, no touchdowns. I thought this guy was a legitimate wide receiver too. I drafted him a lot of best balls. I thought, he's just going to get, with Drake London, I thought also was going to be a top 5 fantasy receiver this year with Bijan in the backfield, with, Kyle Pitts on the other side catching the ball. I thought, hey, Mooney's going to get some nice looks this year, and I think he's going to do well. I mean, he's poop, man. I mean, he's not fantasy relevant. 7 catches on 79 yards for 5. He's darneo droppable at this point. So, last year he was just 8 yards off of 1,000 yards on a season. I thought, hey, this guy's a pretty good wide receiver too. Not T. Higgins, but something decent. He's just irrelevant. He's a skunk. I'm done with Darnell Mooney right now. So,
yeah, I don't blame you. I wish that he was still his relevant self, but he is not, sadly. So. Right. All right, well, let's jump into our next segment that we like to call the Fantasy Fireworks. So this week, we're only going to pick one matchup per one of us that we can talk through that we think will produce a lot of fantasy football points for everybody. Would you like to go first with yours, or would you like me to go first?
You go. Go ahead.
Okay, so my first one that I have is the 49ers at the Buccaneers. If there's one thing that I've learned from a quarter of the season of football is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers love shootouts. Yep. And so I think both of those teams are just going to want to score as many points as possible. I think there's so many injuries going on with the 49ers team, but you still have players like Mac Jones stepping up, the tight end, something. He's stepping up. You got other wide receivers that are a little old and a little bit washed, but still making plays. And so you still have CMC there. And so I think that there's still going to be some good fantasy points being scored in that game. And obviously, Emeka Egbuka has been on a skyrocket trajectory for fantasy football.
What a beast, dude.
Yeah.
Ohio State receivers, man. What a factory. Brian Hartline is special, and it's just crazy. I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like Carnell Tate next year, Jeremiah Smith. I mean, you got what is his name coming in? I'm blanking. I mean, Jameer Hollywood Brown is going to be in 2027. Chris Henry Jr. 2026. Like it's going to be insane. That's what I was thinking of, Henry Jr.
Gotcha.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm just really excited about Buckeye receivers. So
no, I get it. I'm with you too. I just don't know them as in depth as you. But yeah, so I think that game is going to produce a lot of fantasy points. Baker Mayfield looks like on an elite level, level we've probably never seen him play at before, and so I think there'll be a lot of points to be had. Obviously, you're missing some starters in Ricky Pearsall and Bucky Irving, but you got role players behind them that are going to step in and just do fine anyway. So I'm excited about that game.
Yeah, it's a good pick. We're doing fantasy fireworks. So David picked a game which he thought he could would produce a ton of fantasy points. Now to pick mine, I'm picking the Chiefs versus the Lions. No brainer. Pat Mahomes, second-ranked fantasy quarterback right now. You got the plethora of running backs between Pacheco, Hunt, and Rashard Smith. All middle of the pack running backs. Rashard Smith looks to be probably the most promising, and probably will, I think, take over that backfield later on in the year. But right now they're just sharing running back by committee. Tyquan Thornton's looking really, really good. Guy who's been practice squad for 2 years, bounced around, from the Patriots now to the Chiefs, and looks really good. 22nd ranked fantasy receiver. Was it Xavier Worthy's coming back, and then Kelsey's a 6th tight end. Chiefs defense, the 7th total passing defense, and 21st rushing defense. So not so bad. And then the Lions offense, obviously Matthew Stafford's top 7 fantasy quarterback. Yeah, Gibbs who's 5th. Montgomery is 15th. St. Brown's the number 2 receiver. Just a great mixture of just really, really high scoring players. Sam Laporte is a top 10 fantasy tight end right now, and the Lions defense also is 8th overall in allowing only little under 300 yards per game, 14 total touchdowns. So really 2 decent defenses against 2 really, really good offenses should still, benefit from a lot of fantasy points and should be a lot of fun. I think the Lions are going to beat the Chiefs too, just for fun. Why not?
The
Chiefs just lost to the Jaguars.
So. I know, but I think the Chiefs are just going to be so pissed off and hungry for a win that I think it might be a surprise game for a lot.
Chiefs and the rest.
We'll see. Did you see Tyquan Thornton run down that guy in that 99-yard pick six, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so the guy that intercepted the ball was way ahead of everybody. It looked like he was running fast, but then Tyquan Thornton just literally comes in out of the screen out of nowhere and catches up to him instantly. He was crazy. Literally running at times 3 speed of everybody else, and it was insane.
Yeah, he's really fast. Kind of that sounds like the DK Metcalf one.
Yeah, he caught up to him and just tried to punch the ball out though. He didn't tackle him or anything, but yeah.
Still sweet. That's crazy.
Still really quick. Yeah. All right, so our next segment, we've got our long shot lineup. So these are players that we think are flying under the radar, that we think are worthy of starting in your fantasy lineups this week, whether it be because of matchups, injuries, or anything like that. So we'll give a quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex to start this week. So, Monster, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, man. All right, this week, long shot lineup, my quarterback is Sam Darnold from the Seahawks.
Okay.
Projected 21.81 fantasy points. Last week versus the Buccaneers, 28 of 34 for 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Had over 38 fantasy points. Absolute beast last week. This week they play the Jaguars. The Jaguars have the 27th best passing defense, allowing over 250 yards per game. And, the Jaguars are coming off a big win. I get it against the Chiefs, like I said earlier. But if we're being honest, the Seahawks offense is better than the current Chiefs offense. Jackson Smith-Njigba is a 4th-ranked fantasy receiver right now in the season. He looks really, really good. I think that Sam Darnold is going to play very well against the Jaguars this week, and that's why he's in my long shot lineup. So,
yeah, I like it. It's a good pick. So my quarterback that I have this week for the long shot lineup is Justin Fields, actually. I've been pretty against starting the Jets for a lot of different reasons. But the matchup that I have this week is that Jets team going up against the Broncos, and I think that secondary is just so strong that Justin Fields is just going to have to use his legs a lot. And so I think he'll get a couple of rushing touchdowns, still maybe be able to throw a touchdown or 2 to Garrett Wilson or Mason Taylor or somebody like that. But I think that he'll still produce good fantasy value, still be able to put up a good game, and still probably lose the game, but still be good for your fantasy team. So if you got him, I like him this week. Start him, but I would advocate for it.
Yeah, I like Justin Fields in general. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a top fantasy quarterback in general. His legs, he's a very, very good rusher. His legs are very, very beneficial for fantasy. So as long as he stays healthy, I always will, like Justin Fields above anyone who stands in the pocket. So
yeah. Also, Justin Fields is not really the issue right now for the Jets, in all honesty. They got a lot of huge issues on that offensive line and in their defense, it looks like.
And Breece Hall, he's fumbling the ball. What the heck is up with him, man?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Go into your running back.
All right, my running back. I talked about him earlier this week, but Bill Cross-Gamerett. I don't know if he's a long shot anymore, but he just finally had a good game for fantasy football. So I would definitely start him this week in your lineups. He is going to be just the bell cow back moving forward for that Commanders defense, and they're going to score a lot of points. And I feel like anytime that they get into the red zone, it is a threat for him to score a touchdown. So definitely go give him a start.
Yeah. My running back for all you Browns fans, Quinshawn Judkins. He's projected almost 14 fantasy points this week. Last week versus the Vikings in London, 23 rushes for 110 yards and 1 catch for 18 yards. Had a little over 13 fantasy points. This week they play the Steelers. The Steelers have the 28th ranked defense, allowing only 382 yards per game and 12 total touchdowns, and the 19th best rushing defense, allowing 122 rushing yards per game and 4 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, pretty much the only thing going good for this Browns offense right now is Quinshon Judkins. I mean, he seems like he's – I don't want to say it because, we love him so much, but he reminds me of a plug-and-play copy of Nick Chubb. I mean, the run, the yards after contact is something special. He just, he's always fighting for more yards. He's got the heart, and he's catching the balls in the backfield, which is really, really nice too. I mean, even behind this Browns off-field offensive lines, he seems to flourish. Give me Quinshon Judkins this week as a long shot. I think he'll score pretty well. So
yeah, I like that pick. And I was listening to a podcast earlier today. I forget which one it was. But somebody compared him to Le'Veon Bell actually, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really good comparison because not only is he really good at waiting behind his offensive line and finding a hole and going and exploding through it, but he's also really good at dynamic in the passing game. And so I like that comparison a lot.
Interesting.
So my first wide receiver that I have is somebody.
For those just joining, this is the long shot lineup. We are just picking guys who aren't usually the top guys at each position, but hey, we like these guys at this position for this week, and hopefully they'll score you some points. So kind of like sleepers.
Yes, a little bit, but not completely sleepers.
Right.
So my first guy is somebody who's kind of had a few quiet weeks, but has definitely been a boomer bust potential type of a player. And I talked about this matchup earlier on the Jet side of it, but the Bronco side of it, I'm going to go with Troy Franklin as a good starter option this week. He is somebody that is very much a boomer bust, and I think that with Sauce Gardner being matched up on Cortland Sutton, I think that there could be a lot of space for Troy Franklin to get some really big explosive plays deep down the field, and Bo Nix is going to look for him and find him and maybe get a couple of deep touchdown passes from him. So I like the potential that there is for Troy Franklin here against the Jets. That safety room for the Jets is really not great at all, and so I think he could beat them and get over the top and score. So I like that pick.
Nice. Going to your second receiver.
My second receiver is somebody who I think should do well this week no matter who's playing the quarterback for him. It sounds like Jackson Dart might be a little bit hurt, but Wan'Dale Robinson is my wide receiver that I like a lot this week for the long shot lineup. That wide receiver room is really just hurting. Theo Johnson emerged as a good red zone target, but I think Wan'Dale is going to be kind of the go-to wide receiver moving forward and somebody that quarterback, hopefully Jackson Dart, can rely on. I think he's still an explosive player. We see him make contested catches in traffic, deep plays already this season and been a reliable receiver. And so I'm hoping that he can catch a little bit more of that magic and get some more looks from Jackson Dart. So Wan'Dale Robinson, start him.
Nice. All right. My two receivers for the long shot lineup. My first one is Devonta Smith, wide receiver for the Eagles. Projected 10.76 fantasy points. Last week versus the Broncos, 8 catches for 114 yards, 15.4 fantasy points, top 5 defense. And he finally paid off. They've been struggling, the last few weeks with getting that passing game going. Ranking 30th overall in offense and averaging 261.6 yards and 16 total touchdowns. Their offensive ranking is pretty surprising after all the stars on their team. They have Saquon, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, even Dallas Goedert, and et cetera. They always seem to have guys. This is a promising matchup for the Eagles. They play the Giants. The Giants have the 26th total offense, allowing almost 400 yards per game and 30 total touchdowns. Also, the 24th ranked passing offense. So that's something, bottom of the NFL for passing offense. There's a lot of opportunity for this Eagles passing offense this week. I think that Devontae Smith should benefit greatly. He's projected 10.76 fantasy points. I can see him, with the touchdown, 15 points. So he's definitely a sleeper for me for the long shot lineup. And then my second receiver, wide receiver Matthew Golden from the Packers. He's only projected 7.11 fantasy points. Week 4 versus Dallas. Last week, week 5 they had a bye. But week 4 versus Dallas, 5 catches for 58 yards. But they play the Bengals this week. And the Bengals have the 30th ranked defense total, almost allowing 400 yards per game and a total of 20 touchdowns this year. And they have the 29th ranked passing defense. They're not very good. This Bengals team is so bad. Their defense is really bad. Someone on this packing offense is going to have a good game that's, other than Tucker Kraft. And this week, I think it'll be Golden. I think he's a good second launch up receiver this week for sure. So.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. He's still looking for his breakout game too, and I think this would be a good matchup for him. So I like that.
I think he was overdrafted. But.
Oh yeah, I agree. But I think he still could be good.
Yeah, good opportunity.
True. Tight end that I got for my long shot lineup. AJ Barner, tight end for the Seahawks. He's somebody that exploded last week. Caught 2 touchdown passes. Just looked like a very good, reliable, emerging tight end for that offense when they needed some. A lot of people thought Elijah Arroyo might be that tight end. I personally thought that. And I even started him last week. I did. And then AJ Barner came in and said, "Ha, David, you're an idiot. Don't start Elijah Arroyo. Start me." And so AJ Barner, go start him. He should be somebody that continues to see more increased snaps and targets, and just become somebody that's a reliable weapon for Sam Darnold in the red zone. So
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, last year I picked him up on a $1 contract for 2 years, and everyone was like, "Who is that guy?" Blah blah blah. Ball knowers know. All right, dude was good out of Michigan, had good hands, and Noah Fant sucked. I knew he was going to emerge as a role. I didn't think he was going to beat Elijah Arroyo, but hey, I'm happy about it. So right now I have a top 8 fantasy tight end on my team sitting on my bench because I am Mr. Tight End and have all the best tight ends. So
you are Mr. Tight End. That's true.
All right, my tight end for this week, another tight end who I have in our dynasty league, Theo Johnson.
Ooh.
Projected 5.92 fantasy points, 82% snap count, 6 catches for 33 yards last week. Not that great. 2 touchdowns. Really great.
Those are what matter.
Since Malik Neighbors' injury, Johnson has received 9 catches on 12 targets for 50 yards and 3 touchdowns. His role is increasing and only get better as I've said it before. And this week they played the Eagles. The Eagles had the 20th ranked total defense. And they also had the 15th best passing defense, allowing 211 passing yards per game. Although the Eagles haven't been very good against tight ends this year. Have been good against tight ends this year. They've been 4th against tight ends this year. I still believe that Theo Johnson, there's not really many guys on that team who are going to catch the ball. And he, like I said before, his RAS is incredible. He should still get the targets, especially in the red zone. He's a great tight end to play right now. I think so. Tight end for the long shot.
Yeah, a good pick. And one last player we have is a flex. So this one is a little bit of a reach, but I think can still be very fantasy relevant because he's so efficient. And that would be Tyler Algier. He is somebody who I think runs the ball very, very well.
This is the second time he's put him on here, too.
I know, and he's done well. So I've been very excited about him. I believe that they were on a bye week last week, but the week before that, Algier had 16 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown, so had 11 points. 2 weeks before that, he had another 16 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. So I think that they're kind of doing like a on week, off week with him right now. And so since they're just coming off of a bye, I think that he could get a lot more of those carries. And so if he gets to that 12, 15, 16 carry mark, I think that he could be somebody that is fantasy relevant, get you to some 15, maybe 2 touchdowns to get you to 20 points. But yeah, somebody who might be a little bit of a reach, but I still like a lot in fantasy football. So Tyler Algier, give him a chance.
That's hard to flex Bijan's backup running back, man, for me. I don't know. The numbers are there, but that's just that's hard. Yeah. My flex receiver for the Colts, not Josh Downs this time, David. Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman, the Pitty City.
Projected 9.5 fantasy points. Last week versus the Raiders, had 5 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown for 12.4 fantasy points. This week they play the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a very, very bad defense, 28th ranked passing defense in the NFL, allowing 254 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. This Colts offense is electric. They ranked 4th in the NFL. Daniel Jones looks to have already earned himself a nice contract for the future, I think, if he stays healthy. And their rushing attack is amazing. The mix of the Colts' great offense and the Cardinals' bad defense, it makes it a no-brainer for me to start some Colts pass catchers this week. I think Tyler Warren's clearly going to feast. He's I call him my fantasy Pookie because I've been in on him forever. But for me this week, Michael Pittman is going to be the other guy. He has a receiving touchdown in 4 of the first 5 games, and I expect him to finally hit 100 yards in a game this week. I think he'll score another touchdown. I like Michael Pittman. Yeah,
I like that too. It's a good pick. I thought that Josh Downs was going to be somebody good this year with you.
I still do.
But yeah, it looks like Michael Pittman has emerged as.
I like Josh Downs a lot. I do, but the emergence of Tyler Warren has obviously made a little fishy there in the slot. So
true. All right. Our next segment, we have the legacy lineup. So this is a DFS daily fantasy sport lineup, just to help you maybe win some cash this week or anything like that. But we'll just do 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and tight end, just to help you get a good sense of who we like this week, matchup wise, and who we think.
This is not official betting advice. This is just what we would do.
Not financial advice.
I don't bet. So
I literally don't either. So. All right, so my first one that I have is, I talked about this team a little bit already, but Bo Nix is a quarterback that I like a lot, going up against, I already forgot who they're going up against, but with, the Giants, right? Isn't that what I said?
No.
Nope, I forget. Anyway, Bo Nix, somebody that I like a lot. He's been on a tear.
Close.
The Jets, that's right. I've been talking about that matchup a lot. So the Jets, I think that Bo Nix is somebody that could feast off of that secondary and that team. The team is 0-5. The defense is really not that great. I think that is somebody that Bo Nix could pick apart, hit some deep shots on with Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin. And I think that he'll be really good. So Bo Nix, go get him, start him, put him in your DFS line.
There you go. My quarterback is Justin Herbert versus the Dolphins. The Dolphins have the 29th ranked total defense and the 16th ranked passing defense, allowing 212 passing yards per game and 9 total touchdowns. With Omari and Hampton placed on IR, I think the Chargers will have to open up the passing game even more. I mean, Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal can only take you so far on the ground. I did like Kamani Vidal coming out of the draft last year out of Troy, but, we'll see. I mean, they're not Omari and Hampton. They obviously drafted Hampton in the first round because they needed a first-round running back. Justin Herbert is ranked as the 10th best quarterback in sleeper after 5 weeks, and I expect him to have a fantastic game against a Dolphins team that lacks identity and leadership. I would start Justin Herbert this week against the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that. I'm curious to see if the Chargers make a trade for a running back at all. They're pretty beat up. So.
We'll see. Yeah, there's a couple teams that could use a running back. So
can I interest somebody in Jerome Ford? Maybe.
No, he sucks.
All right. So speaking of running backs, my running back for this week's legacy lineup is none other than Jonathan Taylor. The dude has just been absolutely on fire. Yeah. So if you can get him, go get him. Absolute stud. Just been the bell cow back for that Colts team. Love it. I don't even need to say anymore. He's going to score you points. So go get him.
Yeah. My running back was Josh Jacobs from the Packers versus the Bengals. They were on a bye last week. Like I said, they played the Bengals this week. As I said with Matthew Golden, the Bengals defense sucks. The Bengals have the 30th ranked defense. They're just not good. They also have the 24th ranked rushing defense, allowing 132 yards per game. How can I put this nicely? Josh Jacobs is going to destroy the Bengals defense. I think after being stopped by the Browns have a really, really good defense, especially really good, running defense. Week 2, he's been looking to put up more points, and I think this is going to be his revenge game, probably his best game of the year. He's going to be very good. Also, one thing to note, it is reported that, like I said, Joe Flacco is taking over the starting job from Jake Browning for the Bengals. Flacco's thrown only 2 touchdowns compared to 6 interceptions this year for the Browns, compared to Jake Browning, who has thrown 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I don't know if that's much of an upgrade. I like Joe Flacco because of what he did for the Browns 2 years ago. The Bengals should look a little better with Flacco, I'd assume, but not by much, especially just being in there for like 3 or 4 days before he's going to be thrown out to the Wolves and start. I expect this Packers defense, who is ranked 4th overall, to create turnovers and have a nice short field scenarios for Josh Jacobs to take advantage of. So I'm going to play Josh Jacobs against the Bengals this week.
Yeah, I agree. I would start him too. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Bengals are going to be worse with Joe Flacco, but that might just be me.
It's going to be hard.
Well, it's true, but
I don't know. Flacco's been very, very accurate this year. And
he has been.
The Browns receivers have not done him any favors, and now he's going from a terrible receiver room in the Browns to one of the best. So, it's all going to be dependent on that offensive line, and he's definitely surrounded himself with a better offense. So
yeah, he's just a statue though. So I think anytime there's pressure, he's just going to get sacked. So. All right, my wide receiver for the legacy lineup is none other than my boy Rome Odunze. Absolute stud so far throughout the first few weeks of fantasy football. He has caught at least 1 touchdown pass every game that he's appeared in this season so far. So can that trend continue? I think so. So I would be starting him, picking him in every DFS league that if I played them, because I think that he's just going to be the most reliable piece of that offense moving forward. And so Rome Odunze, start him, do what you can to go get him.
Nice. Mine's literally, this is my no-brainer, and probably will follow by a duh, but it's going to be Puka Nacua versus the Ravens. Puka's the number 1 receiver. He's clearly top receiver in 2025 with 52 catches, 588 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I expect Puka to continue his reign as the top receiver as well after this week. The Ravens have a really, really, really bad defense, 2nd worst total defense, allowing 408 yards per game and 21 total touchdowns, which is just baffles me because they have some stars on that team. Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, even like Malachi Starks, the rookie safety I love. They Mike Green, the edge out of Marshall this past year. Really good draft and good players, and they just suck. I love it because I'm a Browns fan, but that sucks also because this division is wide open and the Browns suck too. So what the heck? Nonetheless, the Ravens suck. They're also allowing 262 passing yards per game, which is 2nd worst in the NFL. Puka's going to embarrass the Ravens even more. Like I said, this is a no-brainer. Go start Puka Nacua. So
yes, agreed. Go start him. Yeah. So my tight end that I have for the legacy lineup, I did not know that he was injured before doing this, so we're going to stick with it. But if he plays, I think he'll do well, and that is Jake Ferguson. He has emerged as kind of that second weapon behind George Pickens in that Cowboys offense, and I think that he will continue to do so and continue to see those red zone targets and catch a lot of touchdowns. So if he plays and is healthy, I like him. Start him.
Yeah, I saw a stat where he's like the most targeted tight end through 5 games in almost in the NFL. He's something crazy. So
yeah,
I mean, if he can capitalize and he's healthy, I would definitely start him for sure. So. So my tight end for the legacy lineup, like we said quickly, this is just something we're doing for daily fantasy sports, just basically one of the top guys in the positions who we would start for the week. Mine is going to be Tucker Kraft versus that awful Bengals defense, as I said before. I know that I have 2 players now in the legacy lineup that are on the Packers and going against the Bengals, but they're going against the Bengals. It wasn't intentional, but it's just a testament how bad that defense is. Bengals have the 30th worst total defense and the 29th worst passing defense. But here's a little fun fact too: the Bengals have the worst defense against tight ends in the NFL this year. Week 1 collective with Harold Finn Jr. and David Njoku, they gave up 15.3 fantasy points. Week 2 against Brenton Strange, they gave up 3.2. Week 4 against TJ Hawkinson, they gave up 13.4. Week 4 against Evan Ingram, they get up 9.1. And then week 5 against Sam Laporta, they gave up 17.7. So just a lot of fantasy points this Bengals defense is giving up to tight ends, and Tucker Kraft, who I believe is a top 5 will be a top 5 fantasy tight end this year. Right now he's 12th ranked, but he'll get his. I mean, that offense is a little wishy-washy right now with just the questions of injuries and stuff like that. But I fully expect Tucker Kraft to take advantage of this awful defense, and he'll have a much higher ranking after this game. So I would start Tucker Kraft.
I like that pick a lot. Tucker Kraft is a dude, so I like it. All right, we got one last segment to talk.
No, we got waivers. We got waivers.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
We also have FMFT.
Before we get to our fantasy.
My bad. I'll shut up. Go ahead, Dave.
You're good. We'll get into our waivers, what we call sleepers and creepers. So people that we are very high on in the waiver wire that we call sleepers. You want to stash on your team now. And then creepers who are like, you probably should just cut these players because they're that bad. So for my first sleeper, we talked about him earlier, but AJ Burner, he had over 300,000 ads this week for sleeper. Somebody who just lit it up last week and I think is worth a stash. Anytime there's a tight end that does something like that, you've got to go and get him if you can in your waiver wire. And so, go get AJ Barner. I think he'll continue to see more targets and more shares and catch more touchdown passes. So big fan. Definitely a good waiver wire addition if he's available in your league.
Nice. All right. My first one is tight end from the Seahawks, AJ Barner. Once again, David and I don't go over who we pick. We like to keep it random, and if we collectively agree on somebody, that just is a testament to who we think is probably going to do well this next week. AJ Barner, only 48% rostered on Sleeper right now, so definitely, over half of leagues don't have this guy added. He's the 8th ranked tight end after 5 weeks. He also has 4 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. Yes, we talked about it. They drafted a tight end in the second round this year in Elijah Arroyo, and I expect him to take over that tight end room eventually. But Barner has the experience of that tight end room, and as the veteran, when they cut Noah Fant, and he's taking advantage of it, putting up over 9, 10, and 20 points in the last 4 weeks. AJ Barner should be picked up and stashed on their team for sure. So
right away, do it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
David said 300,000 ads. He's actually had over 500,000 ads today.
I checked that this morning, so that's probably why.
I'll do my second one. My second one is a wide receiver for the Cowboys, Ryan Flournoy. Only 8% rostered on Sleeper. Flournoy made a couple splash plays last year in the preseason in 2024 as a rookie, but really didn't do anything significant during the regular season. Obviously behind CeeDee Lamb and company. However, last week Flournoy showed up, and the splashes showed again. Obviously against the Jets defense, David has talked about how bad their defense is, but he caught 6 passes for 114 yards, recorded 15.4 fantasy points. The fact of the matter is this Cowboys offense is riddled with injuries in that wide receiver room. CeeDee Lamb's hurt. Devontae Turpin's hurt. Who knows when those guys will be back. I'm looking for Flournoy to capitalize on what he did last week with another decent game. I think one thing's for certain, Dak will find his receivers. I think that Flournoy will benefit from this week. I would definitely pick him up. 8% rostered. Throw him on your taxi squad. Throw him on the bottom of your bench. Just see what he's got. But, Turpin was getting the ball before then, and, Dak's going to find somebody. I think Flournoy is going to be the next guy in line. So.
Yeah, I agree. I like that one. My next pick is actually a running back. I feel like we very rarely talk about running backs on the waiver wire, but that would be Brashard Smith for the Chiefs. I think that he's going to eventually emerge as the top running back option for that offense. You can see that he has that explosiveness. He's got that quick step. I think they're just kind of waiting for him to continue to develop, to continue to see the holes as they progress, and continue to even, I think, be a quality weapon in special teams. You've seen him return some pretty long kicks already. I think it's only going to be a matter of time before he takes one to the house, and that'll be fantasy relevant. So I think he's a good stash, maybe not even for like these next couple of weeks, but for the later on parts of the season, I think he'll be vital to that playoff push that the Chiefs will want to have. And so I'm a big fan of stashing him now and using him later.
Good pick. Real quick, Sleeper's most added players this week. Number 1 is Hassan Haskins with 3 million ads. Number 2, Kamani Vidal with 1.3 million. Number 3, the Patriots defense with 877,000. Number 4, Ryan Flournoy with 613,000. Number 5, Bill Crosby-Merritt with 518,000. Bill, yeah. Number 6, AJ Barner with 511,000. Number 7, Brandon McManus, the kicker, 509,000. And then number 8, Mason Taylor, the tight end for the Jets, with 366,000. So those are all guys that you should be looking to add on your waiver wire because consensus is saying, hey, add them. There's a lot of people adding him right now. So
yeah.
All right, let's go on to Creepers.
Creepers. All right, so you talked about my first one, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but Jerry Jeudy is somebody that I would start cutting off of my fantasy football team.
Yeah.
I think until he starts actually showing up and catching passes, he's not really doing the receiver thing. So he's just a body out there on the field, and he's just bad. So drop him.
All right. My first Creeper is a wide receiver from the Cleveland Browns, Jerry Jeudy. As I said and David said earlier. What,
I need to address this. Me and Mosser, we tend to not agree all the time when it comes to football or fantasy football takes. So when we do agree on things, which probably means that it's truth, like absolute truth. So listen carefully when we say Jerry Jeudy stinks.
Yeah. As I said earlier, Jeudy on the year, 15 catches, 35 targets. I mean, that's 20 non-catches. I mean, 197 yards. He also leads the NFL in drop passes in 2025. He's a hot-headed wide receiver on a bad team. He can't catch the ball, and it's not somebody I would want to have on my fantasy football team right now. He's 64th ranked receiver as the number 1 receiving option for the Browns. Is embarrassing. You know, and now he's got a rookie QB on his team. Only rookie QBs on his team, really. I mean, other than Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco's gone.
I don't even want to start that conversation.
Listen, I don't either, but it's a reality that is going to happen, I think, unfortunately, that not a lot of Browns fans are waiting for. I think they should never do it. I think that would just be an embarrassment. And
it would be a slap in the face to all the fans.
I think most fans would be very, very upset. But Watson, I mean, by law, Watson has a right to work. I don't know.
No, I don't.
We'll see. Nonetheless, Jerry Jeudy sucks. So does Deshaun Watson. He's an idiot. Trade Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I would get rid of him before it's too late. He's not fantasy relevant. I doubt you really get anything for him right now, but better than just sending him on your bench because the guy can't catch the ball. So,
yep. All right. My next person that I have on here is
for Creepers.
For Creepers. Joe Flacco. I know some people are maybe like, oh, let's pick him up. He's going to start for the Bengals. He's going to throw to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. He's going to get a lot of fantasy points. I don't think that's going to be the case. We saw, like his stats, as Monster said earlier, 2 touchdown passes, 6 picks. I don't know if he's going to get that interception bug necessarily fixed on the Bengals offense. Yes, those weapons are good. Is he still going to throw to the other team? Yes, he is. So I think he'll be helpful for the Bengals. Good, maybe, yes. Fantasy-wise, I still don't think he's going to be relevant or somebody that you can consistently count on to start because he will turn the ball over, whether that be a strip sack or an interception. So I am not on the hype train for Joe Flacco.
I think Flacco is going to do really, really well in this offense with these receivers. I think, like I said, I did not put most of these interceptions on Flacco with the Browns. They were drop passes. I mean, in the first game against the Bengals, Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy both had the ball bounce off their chest as they're laying on the ground, and the receiver intercepted it. Against the Packers, Jerry Jeudy went to go get after the ball, and the corner jumped over him and made a super athletic play. I mean, we'll see, but I mean, he's now got the receivers that can catch the ball. So I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm not saying I would have him on my team, but I could see where he could possibly be okay. So
we'll see.
My last creeper is Malik Washington, wide receiver from the Dolphins. Right now he's a 74th ranked receiver on Sleeper. Listen, I actually love Malik Washington.
You've been high on him, yeah.
I do for Dynasty. Okay, I really liked him coming out of college. I think he could be a very, very good NFL slot receiver. With the season-ending injury, I cannot talk tonight. It's about to be time to get off. Season-ending injury to Tyreek Hill last week. I thought that he would be, gaining more of a role. However, this Dolphins team is bad through and through. It looks like Jalen Waddle has assumed the wide receiver 1 role, which was assumed would happen nicely. And then the re-emergence of Darren Waller in the offense too. I don't think that the ball will make it to a 5'8" receiver. When there are other great players on the ball or on the team right now. Last week, Washington had 0 catches on 4 targets, and that would not get it done, unfortunately. So Washington right now is a creeper for me. So
yeah, that's a good pick. I like that as much as I don't want to say it, but
yeah. And then real quick, sleepers most dropped players this week. 1 was Brenton Strange, 875,000. He's on IR right now. 2, Darius Slayton, kind of surprising, 486,000. Oh, wow. 3, Sean Tucker, 464,000. 4, Malik Washington, 431,000. 5, Chris Rodriguez, 388,000. 6, Jalen Tolbert, 374,000. And then 7, Zach Ertz with 329,000. So
interesting. All right, Zach Ertz is getting dropped. That's crazy. All right, we're going into our last segment, what we like to call FMFT, Fix My Fantasy Team. So every week, you all that are listening get to submit questions to help you with your fantasy team this week. So that could be a, hey, who do I start? That could be a, hey, how about this trade offer? Should I accept it? Should I not? Any way that we can help fix your fantasy team, please send in those questions.
Yeah,
mostly we're on X, Twitter. You can follow us there. You can also post on our YouTube comments, on Instagram. You can tag us. Yeah. But yeah, Facebook, all the places. So yeah, you want to do our first question?
Yeah. This one's from APJ, always positive J, one of my dudes. Love APJ. He said, who are some good flex running backs to target in trades right now? I went with Rico Dowdle.
Okay.
Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins. And Omarion Hampton. Okay.
I was about to say, this depends on the league that you're in.
Right.
If this is a dynasty league, I would be all in on trying to trade for Amari and Hampton.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but dynasty league, I doubt anyone's going to trade Amari and Hampton just because it's out 4 weeks. But
true.
I mean, Dowdle showed enough this last week to warrant some more snaps, even with Chuba Hubbard playing. Same thing with Cam Scadaboo. Tyron Tracy Jr. is set to come back this week from a shoulder injury, but I think that Cam will earn a higher snap percentage. He also seems to have a great relationship with Jackson Dart. They look like real buddies. I saw this video earlier today where like they like to headbutt each other like the turtles on Finding Nemo, just because Cam Scadaboo has a headbuttable head, he said. Just dumb stuff, but they look like buddies, and bros want their buddies to succeed. So I could see a world where Jackson Dart's going to want to continue to give Cam Scadaboo the ball because 1, he's playing well, and 2, they're buddies.
Yeah.
Also, J.K. Dobbins isn't known as a world-beating running back, but he's getting a decent snap count on a good offense. Even with R.J. Harvey waiting in the shadows, Dobbins looks good this year.
Yeah.
But he's outside the top 10. He's within 10 to 15 in the rankings for sleeper on running backs. So that before the offense really takes off and Dobbins continues to look good, he could be a guy to look for. And like I said, some guys, especially in redraft leagues, say like you can stash Amari and Hampton, trade for him, stash him on your bench. When he comes back, he's going to assume that role again, and that role's very, very valuable. He's going to feast. So yes, he's out for at least 3 more weeks on IR, but if you can stash him, he could be a great player that's going to lead you to the championship this year. So
yeah, I agree with all those. I got 2 more names, and then we'll quickly get on to the next question.
Yeah,
first one is Travis Etienne. I think his usage has gone down a little bit here, but I still think that he's going to be somebody who's fantasy relevant and still a very elusive running back for that offense. And so I would be definitely trying to trade for him. He's a great flex piece for you. And then another one is a rookie running back, Woody Marks for the Houston Texans. They still seem to be searching for that running back of the future there. Nick Chubb looks okay for now, but I think Woody Marks could definitely take some more of that share carry. Wow. And definitely as the season progresses, emerge himself as the top leading running back in that room. So I would buy low on Woody Marks and try and acquire him.
There you go. Thanks, Jay, for that question. Appreciate you.
Yeah, great question.
I'll read the next one and you can answer it. From James Peters, how cooked are the Cardinals and Chargers backfield? I cannot read. Oh my gosh. How cooked are the Cardinals and Chargers backfields with a fantasy outlook? So
yeah, so Chargers, I would say, is not cooked. I just think they might be on a little bit of a lull for now. I still think that offense and that scheme is still very friendly for running backs. Hassan Haskins could still score a lot of touchdowns and make them fantasy relevant. I think Jim Harbaugh is still going to try and run the ball no matter what. That offensive line is just so quality that they'll be able to make it work. The Cardinals might be a little bit more cooked. There's a lot that's going on in that offense and a lot that's going on in that team. You have coaches getting fined for punching/hitting their running backs that fumble the ball as they're trying to score. Like, there's a lot going on, and I don't think it's just a scheme thing. I think it's a culture thing. And so, yeah, I think that one might be pretty cooked.
For the record, I would have punched them too. So
I would have been pissed. I don't know. I don't think I would have punched him, but I would have been pissed.
I would have punched him. I don't know if I would have. He's probably bigger than me. All right, so I actually completely disagree with David. I think that the Chargers are more cooked than the Cardinals. The Cardinals have Michael Carter last week, 18 rushes for 51 yards and a touchdown, and then Imari DiMercado, 3 rushes for 81 yards and 1 awful goal line fumble, which warranted a 1 punch. He did one of those things where you're about to score, then you drop the ball before you score, just like it happened the week before. Who was it? George Pickens. I don't understand how this dumb thing. Just score the ball. Why are you being stupid? You are doing it to look cool, but nonetheless you look like an idiot and you get punched. It's clear that the Cardinals are using Michael Carter as their lead running back until Trey Benson comes back. And like I said, with DeMarcado's embarrassing turnover last week, I expect him to be in the doghouse. As long as Carter can get more yards and capitalize on his opportunities, he may be serviceable, I think. For the Chargers, last week, Hassan Haskins only 5 rushes for 13 yards, and then Kamani Vidal only 4 carries for 18 yards. To me, that backfield looks a little cooked. I mean, the splits are not very favorable for either guy. I personally, like I said, I like Kamani Vidal. I really liked him coming out of Troy last year in the draft as a sleeper. But honestly, I would need another game to get a reading on these guys. I don't know. 5 carries, 4 carries, not really doing it for me. I think they're more cooked until Hampton comes back. So
that's fair. Alrighty. Next question that we've got is who do I start question. Who should I start? Rachaad White or Saquon Barkley? White is a bell cow back right now, and Barkley is injured on a short week. This is coming from Terry Holmes on Twitter.
Thanks,
I'll
Terry.
let you go first.
Yeah. This is a hard one for me, only because Saquon plays Thursday night at 8:15 and White plays Sunday at 4:25. I mean, that's a tough one. But honestly, if Saquon plays, I'm starting him over Rachaad White 100% of the time, no matter what, regardless of an injury designation. I would just sit and wait on Barkley. Watch the injury report. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport on Twitter, they're going to report whether he's playing or not before the game. Wait for that report and make your decision. Also, something to note, in some leagues, they have this new auto sub feature.
Yeah.
They added it last year for Sleeper, where basically you can put a player in who may or may not play because of injury. If they end up playing, they stay in their lineup. If they don't, then they will be placed by a predetermined player that you chose earlier in the day or week. So check into that feature as well, Terry, and just if you have that feature, I still would keep Saquon in. If you don't have that feature, I would just be watching for sure that injury report on Thursday. If he doesn't play, clearly, obviously start Rachaad White. But if there's a chance he's playing or he's weighing in there on a limited account, I'm still playing Saquon Barkley. So.
Yep, I agree. This is the second revenge game for Saquon Barkley at MetLife.
Right.
So, I think he's going to want to play, going to want to show out. I hope the turf monster does not eat him. So. It's already eaten him once, so don't want that to happen again.
Emily neighbors, man.
Yeah, MetLife. What you gonna do?
Ugly. Yeah, was that the last question? I think that was.
We got 2 more. These are pretty new questions. I don't know if this is one question or 2 separate ones, but they're both from the same person, Ryan Murray. So the first one is Brian Thomas Jr. has been sitting in timeout on my bench for underperforming as my 2nd-round pick. Hard to justify starting him when I have Cortland Sutton, Devontae Adams, T-Mac, Keenan Allen in a 2 wide receiver 2 and 2 flex league. I also have Bill, Rico, Chase Brown, and Michael Carter. What do I do with BTJ?
You can go ahead and answer this one because that's a lot of players, and I do not have this one.
Yeah, I would see if I could trade BTJ. If you can't, I'd still hold on to him. Your team looks good enough to me that you have 2 quality starters at least. That could get you to the playoffs, and who knows, by then BTJ might be very serviceable. The Jaguars offense seemed to have gotten off to a slow start, but they're looking like they're turning the corner. Travis Hunter made some good plays. BTJ, I think, even made a play or 2 last week. So definitely hold on to him.
4 catches for 80 yards last week, BTJ.
Yeah. So definitely, I think if you can't trade him, hold on to him, see what happens, and be patient.
Yeah, their matchups are looking not too great. They have the Seattle this week, the Rams the next week after that. A bye. They have the Raiders, who he should do okay, but then the Chargers, and then some okay defenses. I don't know. I like BTJ. I thought he also was going to be a top 5 receiver this year. Obviously, slow start. Trevor Lawrence not looking too great at all. I would hold on to him. I wouldn't trade him. I still think he has that potential. 80 yards last week has me excited. It looks like he's going up each week. I would just hold on to him for now and wait at least until after that bye week. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like the Jags are at a weird point in the season right now where they're at an inflection point. They're coming off of a good win against the Chiefs. They got a lot of momentum behind them. Are they going to capitalize off of it and keep trying to win and keep stacking those wins, or are they going to falter and stumble here a little bit down the stretch?
I hope not. We had their first round pick.
I hope they falter and stumble and really fall apart. That's what I'm hoping for. So
screw the Jaguars, man.
All right. Ryan Murray also sent another one in. It says, I have no defense or kicker on my roster because I dropped them to scoop up Michael Carter, Rico Daddle, and Rashad White while Bijan was on bye and Bucky Irvin's hurt. Do I bench Bill, Chase Brown, BTJ, T. Higgins? That still leaves me with too many. Is it worth to drop anyone? If so, who?
Name the players he was considering dropping.
Bill Krosky Merritt, Chase Brown, BTJ, T. Higgins.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I can. I would drop T. Higgins in all honesty. I think now that Joe Burrow's out, I don't know if he's going to have any sort of chemistry with Joe Flacco. I don't know what kind of target share he's going to get. He's not really been fantasy relevant like at all this season. I think he's definitely a drop candidate for me there. And then the next one after that would probably be Chase Brown. I mean, it's tough because he still could be fantasy relevant. It could be the check down Charlie for Joe Flacco, but I'm not too sure if that'll happen. So I think both of those players would be my top ones, and I'm just so out on the Bengals offense as a whole right now because they're in panic mode. So yeah, those would be my two drop candidates if you need to get a kicker in a defense. So
he considering not dropping anyone as well? Was that an option he was considering?
He was considering not dropping. Well, I mean, he also listed that he picked up Michael Carter, Rico Daddle, and Rashad White.
Yeah, so most leagues, like their rules, you have to have like a legitimate lineup. So like if you're supposed to play defense, definitely check the rules. I'm a guy, if it's not in the rules, I will take advantage of it. But if it's in the rules stated that you have to start a defense or a kicker, then you're going to have to drop guys. But if it's not, and you're like, you know what, like there aren't any really good defenses to pick up this week, I would maybe hold off. I don't know. But if there's a guy I would drop, it would definitely be T. Higgins, 48th ranked receiver. I mean, obviously Jake Browning was looking really bad. I think Joe Flacco is going to do a lot better. He's more accurate. But for right now, I mean, he's still the number 2 option behind a top receiver in the NFL on a bad offense. I just wouldn't. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think the better question is why do you have kickers and defense in your fantasy football league to begin with?
Yeah, what the heck?
You should talk to your commissioner about that one. Definitely get them out of there.
Get kickers out, get defenses out, add in another flex or a super flex, and just have fun with fantasy. I don't know.
Make fantasy fun again.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ryan, for that question as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for the questions. Those were great questions.
Yes. Yeah. So, if you want any questions answered for next week, we go live Wednesdays at 9. Wednesdays, sometime throughout the afternoon, I'll post the FMFT Fix My Fantasy Team post. You can go in there. Please comment. Please ask your questions. We work hard. We'll answer them properly for you. Other than that, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you all joining. I just wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. Inside Edge Network, really grateful for them for providing us a spot to, shoot every week. Also LVP Productions, and then Monster Moments Photography.com, MOSSOR Moments Photography.com, a husband and wife photography team based out of Cleveland. Once again, thank you guys. We have over 200 live viewers. I think the last couple episodes we had over 5,000 to 8,000 viewers total just throughout the week. So just very, very grateful. We really work hard on this for you guys, and hopefully, we're putting in some value for you throughout the week, just to dominate or just learn from our mistakes for fantasy football. So really, really grateful for you guys once again, and we'll see you next week. So thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Go follow us on YouTube. Go follow us on Twitter, please. Really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Bye.